No doubt. I mean, you have to be careful. I mean, there's expectations here, and there should be. And the excitement and the buzz is a positive. But you have to play the game on the field. So when we roll into spring training and talk to the players, we're talking to them now as we see them on a caravan, or Don and Rick have phone calls with their guys. You got to be ready. You don't win anything in December, January, February. You win it during the season between the white lines. So that's the message we want to say. And the biggest thing we can tell our players, you should be excited, but be prepared and be ready when you roll in.
The one thing that you have no control over is results. The only thing you have control over is the fact that if you prepare the right way, you create the right environment, everything is structure oriented, and the culture is right. And those things are falling in place, and guys buy into it. Results will be what they are, and that's the one thing that we have some control over is how things are done, and the players obviously handle the results. So that's a great question. It's getting to know the player, and the player obviously getting to know the coaching staff. And, if there's something that over a period of time you feel like could be of benefit through conversation, through watching the guy play and pitch, you might mention something. But he's those kind of players have got to be wanting information, and so that's where the trust and relationship.
Jack, if you're a player and you have hope and faith and you like what's going on and you had the kind of year we had last year where I guess the culture might have been changed, turned around a little bit, these guys believe, and that's a tremendous component to winning. So you're not going to win without belief. But, as a general manager, as a front office guy, you kind of have to temper that among ourselves. But we certainly hope the players, do what you got to do, but be ready to play ball. And this enthusiasm is warranted, and they should be excited. Well, it gets down to talent. I mean, I've said this from the day I got this job. It's about talent and character, and those two things mesh. You got a chance to be pretty good. So you have to have players step up. We need players like Ian Snell and Ryan Owen Smith. Guys like this, Jose Lopez, and Kochman's getting a chance maybe for the first time in a while. So you have to have these guys step up, and they have to produce. So we could sit there and be excited about what's going on, but we're not playing the game. The players are playing the game. They're going to build their own little nest among themselves, and they're going to build their own little security and trust factors among themselves, and that's a good thing. But we're not taking a thing for granted. We have no reason to. We're a third-place club that is trying to get better, and we hope we're headed in that direction, and we like some things that have happened this winter. But the players play the game, and they play it on the field.
I think it's just the continuation of what he did last year. On the field, the way he performed in the clubhouse, how he matured, and he'll figure that out. I don't think we can't sit there and say you need to do this or you don't need to do that. He'll figure it out because he's proven himself as a legitimate one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Right.
And his I'm sure his goal is saying, hey, let's do this again. And how he does that will probably come down to simplifying things and becoming more efficient in what he does. Believing that everything that he put into practice last year really works. And that's what he's, I'm sure that's, what I did last year works. I think Locke had a huge impact on what happened with him last year and not bringing him back. If we could have brought him back sooner, there's no doubt. But Locke thought it was important for him to continue to mature and develop in Tacoma, and he did, and I think it paid off huge dividends.
Interviewed for the job, my goal was to win a World Series. My goal was to develop this organization to be a first-class front of the pack organization. We're in the initial stages of that. The fact that we were able to do some things that I think have helped us. I mean, if we're going to sustain this thing for a long period of time, we have to do it with developing our own players. So as I said in the conference here a little while ago, your Dustin Ackleys and your Colin Truenfelds and your Alex Leedys, these guys really need to be our future. The fact that we have some nice components to our club right now, and I think we have a chance to have a really good club. We're going to continue to try to build this thing so it sustains itself for years to come. This is not an overnight success story. and nor should anyone think that it is. It's part of the building process. The nice thing about this is, I told somebody this the other day, that every player on this club is back next year. Every position player that's going to take that field is locked into a contract for next year. So, it isn't a initial 1 year type of deal. I mean, we're trying to do some things where you have Ty Gutierrez is up, you tied Felix Hernandez up. We've got Jack Wilson this year and next year, and I think that's what you have to continue to do. It's what has to be done. I mean, I don't have a magic wand, and I don't look at this thing like, we're going to sprinkle some dust on and it's going to happen. That's not the case. I mean, there's a lot of guys that put in a lot of time and effort to try to get us where we're at today. And people that aren't here, people that maybe did some really good things in the past, that were employed by this organization. And that's appreciated. But we've tried to change this culture. We've tried to instill a Mariner way of doing things that is a winning attitude. We hired a manager that shares that vision and is able to deliver that message to the players. And that's very, very important. So as we move forward, when you have a chance to bring in a Cy Young Award winner, a couple All-Star guys, then it's certainly that it speeds things up. But the long-term vision is never leaving our minds. I mean, this thing has got to be good for years to come. If we succeed this year and we fail from here on out, what have we succeeded? So our goal is to be competitive now, to have a balance where we know that we can bring in players that will be here for a while, and in the same sense build our system so that we can compete with anybody.